adaptive learning platforms. So we have plenty of platforms where you could just adapt them to suit the learner's needs and customize them to cater to our classroom scenario, and it can give us a real-time performance data. And that's the beauty of adaptive learning. I'm going to introduce you some of those learning tools and also applications. For emotional support, what is a crucial consideration when deploying AI tools like chatbots or sentiment analysis? Sometimes we gauge the mood of our learners. So which tools can we deploy? Any idea of some of the tools? Or do we simply gather the algorithm information? Actually, our presence itself gives a lot of insight. We can have eye contact, we can look at their faces. Are they going well, happy, sad? So even AI tools, there are some AI tools, they can detect stress patterns in our learners, and they can modify the text or the input or the tasks. So these are powerful models, and they can be really harnessed too. How does understanding AI limitations foster innovation in the classroom? So AI has limitations because without human intervention, it's good for nothing, and it cannot be really utilized to harness the power of it. So it encourages creative experiment. If you use adaptive learning, it goes for more engagement, collaborations, real-time feedback, and also gamifications. And the gamification is the key, because students get more involved and they can choose the tasks depending upon their adaptability, differentiation, their choice, and even their learning styles. So this was just a teaser, just to let you know that AI literacy is important, and key strategies for building foundational AI knowledge that we all teachers need to acquire nowadays. You can't do without them, because there's a lot of involvement of AI technology all around, and most of our even textbooks are going for AI integrations, embedding, immersive technologies, also have presentation plus, and apart from the chatbot and all those kind of robust applications. And we are always hearing about ChatGPT and Claude, and by the way, Google is coming up heavily and has come up with Gemini 3, 2.5, and they're launching 3. That can really be a salvo, a kind of weapon to empower our learners and ourselves also. It cuts down heavily on our repetitive tasks, time consumption. Also allows us to incorporate newer things, task modifications. Can also bring about new ambience or learning environment where low achievers or those who are not involved with L1 interference, they can also be tasked with that. We can have project-based learning. We can assign the project. But let me introduce you to actually what we need to tweak in our teaching technology in order to optimize our teaching methodologies, our philosophies of teaching, our also basic functional day-to-day techniques that we employ in our teaching. So you can have this bar code, which will take you to the LLM, and we can have some of the inputs if you like. I'm going to share all these files with you, but to begin with, let's see why do we need to redefine our technological framework. If I say this is called a technological framework, TPAC, also SAMAR Model. SAMAR Model, we have been taught multiple times that we need to substitute our traditional mode of teaching with technology, also augment our tasks. Augmentation comes from redesigning, also comes from immersive learning like AR, VR, augmented reality, virtual reality, extended reality. So we're living in a world where we are, drowned in AI technology. And there is nothing that is left. It's all pervasive. And we cannot do without them. In fact, our 21st century learner, there are no more outdated learners with the old traditional ways of being taught. So we have to keep abreast of all the updated changes, technological advancements. And so SAMAR model is a good model where it ties to the pedagogical teaching principles. So pedagogy remains the same. We all have some teaching pedagogies and teaching philosophy. But the thing is how we can map it onto the technological applications and technological transition. Because we are in the stage where there is transitioning happening day-to-day basis. And we have LMS, learning management platforms, already using a Blackboard in our own scenario, teaching learning scenario, and then other applications to maximize participation, engagement. And so I'm going to talk a lot about how we can leverage these technological tools with some applications. For example, SAMAR model. SAMAR model redefined incorporates AI-led technology tools. Do you have any idea of what are the tools that are actually AI-led, artificial intelligence-led tools that we are using? All of us use our phones. Actually, all our phones are already laden with these AI integration and powerful phones. And phones are like very powerful. Very powerful tool in the hands of the teachers and the learners as well. So, self-directed learning. So, if we really want our learners to be focused, to gain control, and be autonomous learner, we have to give some freedom. Freedom by utilizing the technology to their phones, their iPad, and all that. And ownership of the education. Ownership comes here from that you allow them to use whatever kinds of tools you want them to. Supported by global research. It's no doubt that world over, the researchers indicate that with the application of global tools and the engagement level has gone up. I'll show you the percentage, like 80%. Then adoption of technology is also rapid. And it's going on too fast that, in fact, 2 billion population of the earth, they are digitally connected now. And 3 to 4 billion are into gamifications. And gamification platforms, they are like, submersive and immigration kind of immersive technologies where they don't just learn how to deal with the day-to-day issues. Even the language learning and applications like Alexa and we can say speech to text or text to video, these are very common. There are 4 components of like text, we have image, we have videos, and we have simple augmented reality. Augmented reality that comes with the virtual head gadgets. We need to put on our devices, or we have to launch our devices. It can be iPods and those kind of things. So various institutions, they are all out for adoption of technology. We cannot lag behind, and we also have to catch up with them. So look at the impact of AI on ESL from foundations. If we divide our brains into 2 hemispheres, it's our brain, left hemisphere, right hemisphere. So almost half of our brain hemisphere is loaded with AI impact, because our social media engagement has gone so much up, and all the time we are on phone, on application, the screen, and it is like a double-edged sword. It's killing the critical thinking ability. It also allowing the learners to gain quick access to the technologies like ChatGPT and Claude and then key in the inputs with immediate feedback, automated task designs, and instantaneous repetition of the drafts. As for writing is concerned, they can upload their writing, whatever, first draft, and then give we can as a teacher we can upload the rubric, whatever kind of rubric, and with prompts. So either prompts or rubric, and the system decides, and check marks and highlights all the errors. Could be personalized errors, could be the usual errors. So it spots the key strength and weakness in the first draft. Then you can upload that draft. It improvises. It gives a clue how to improve upon the other text. So we do it in the writings, teaching writing. So enhanced student-teacher interactions. Actually, these interactions come from online platform. For example, we can have a workplace. We can have a project where we are a party to all the group members. The groups can be hundreds or thousands, it doesn't matter. Because in our classroom, it's restricted to our interactions personally. But on these platforms, we can get to give the feedback, automate the things, give the instructions, check on even the grading, and can be done instantaneously. So increase resource accessibility. All kinds of resources, whether it's spoken, it's with writing, or it's even the pronunciation drill, kind of lexicology, and giving the word bank, so they can have easy access to those word banks, lexical sets, and gap filling, or can be drop down menu, as our Latif brother has shown us on this Gemini 2.3. But there are loads of other applications which do the same thing. I'm going to show you some of them. So, personalized learning pathway is created, also increasing resource accessibility, then enhanced student-teacher interactions, no doubt. AI-driven interactive platform. Now, there are platforms which are AI-driven, completely AI-driven, including ChatGPT or Claude, or we are using plenty of them. And Anthropic is one of the leaders, and Google is coming up with its own all kinds of, whether it's image, text to image, and image also can create scenarios, and it's called create mind maps. Mind maps gives us immediate encapsulations of what are the components of that. Mind map is a good way for visual learners and those who can instantaneously see. Incorporating gamified learning. As I've told you this, it's a symbol of a notepad. Incorporating gamified learning. Instantaneous feedback system. Let's see the self-directed learning in the digital. How the students can set their goals. Students define their own learning objectives. Now, where do they define their own objectives? When they don't have curriculum to follow, when there is no set testing system in a closed door, institutional like university and all that. Also aligning them with personal interests. If somebody wants to hone his skill or refine his skills in certain areas, all learners, they don't want EFL, ESL English alone. In fact, there are learners who want to do better, or to be an artist. You can be a drummer, a musician, a speaker, or whatever jobs, a prompt engineer. So they can define their own personal interests and target language competency. Now, language competencies, although we know as 4 as the ESL, but there are other competencies also. Someone has to speak all the time. Someone has to just speak the language only to be able to convince or persuade people or to sell the products. Sellers, just the marketeer. They don't need to know grammar, transmission methods, and all that. So they are not learning to be highly educated people. They have to own up they start their own startups, their own business, their own fan base. So targeted language competencies, whichever they want to aim at, actually they can set their own goals and they can have their own choices of resource leveraging AI-powered platform to access diverse online materials tailored to varied learning styles. As I was told you that. Varied learning style depends upon, although it's a fallacy that the students, learners have definitive learning styles. We always say that, yes, the kinesthetic is audio learners, Actually, this is a farce. This is not proven by science. All learners are alike in the sense that they only have preferences. The word is preference. It's not about like types of learning. There are no types of learning. All learners, some of them, they just look at the pictures and they get to imitate it and get to internalize it. Some of them wants to just podcast and just hear it. They're good at, great at. Or some of them wants to write in the hands and get static. They feel good if they take notes, physical notes, only then they. So varied learning styles and needs it can cater to. Progress reflection, encouraging self-assessment to evaluate growth. Now, they don't need teachers, learners to get to know their grades, their first term, second term, and multiple attempt. Because you know that, like our blackboard, in progress quiz, the learners can attempt multiple times until they reach 70% of their score. Yeah. So they don't need your presence to tell them what's right, what's wrong. So they can keep doing it until they find it to their satisfaction level or grade. So evaluate growth, identify challenges, and adjust learning strategies accordingly. So our job also comes, primarily here, learning strategies. Because some of these learners, they don't know actually how to begin with, how to set up their tasks, how to carry on, pull on. So there, our presence can, minimize their taxation, and minimize their filters, their fear, their anger, their frustration, those kinds of things. There, our human touch and our presence, we do it on a daily basis. So, contextualized cycles for language acquisition. Context is very important for learning. Whatever you learn, whether it's language or science or. Now, for science, the best thing about, they take them to the labs where the actual demonstrations take place. You can touch, feel them. Well, we are supposed to teach the things in the air, from the thin air. We can't carry all the realia to the classrooms and show them, look at this, look at this, look at this. So we have to improve their conceptualization, their critical thinking ability, their insights, developing insights. So initial exposure, they may not be very great at, so they are introducing the language using AI-driven tools. Now, what are the languages using AI-driven tools? Supposedly, we want them to train in basics of phonemes, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. How do they interconnect? How do they make the words sound? How syllabic, monosyllabic, multisyllabic kinds of words can be pronounced. So we can introduce them to language-driven tools that provide personalized content based on their interests. And proficiency level, that's very important. Here, one size fits all doesn't work because they're not supposed to do everyone the same thing. You just tweak and differentiate and go for multiple versions of the tasks you create or they create. They can create them. You don't have to create for them. They can create them. So proficiency level, if they are very low level, beginners, they have lost interest and they are not really into it, they can still gain the primary exposure, the first set of exposure. Practical practice in real life context. Now, how can you think of any scenario where AI technology helps us practice in real life context? Can you think of any scenario where AI lets us think of the context in reality? Just as I mentioned,
ordering food.
Creating an environment. It's like creating an environment. I want a presentation classroom where a presenter is presenting and the attendees. We will create an environment, immersive environment where the presenter will be, you can see them speaking, acting, even persona. Adding the persona to the individuals and conceptualizing, giving the roles. We call the role plays and giving the hat. And so, but in the AI, it comes to life. It's real, it's very real. And these days, it's not animation anymore. We don't transform them into, it's like virtual reality. And virtual reality is almost close to reality. You can hardly see the difference, You cannot even spot the difference. So it's highly contextualized AI expression that simulates, this was simulation, the real world interactions. It can be boy to boy, girl to girl, man to man, and native to non-native, Saudi to Ajnabi, or it can create any kind of situation where, to unknown people can. So reflection and adaptation, Students reflect on their progress and adapt their learning with AI feedback mechanism. Actually, it's a very new thing, but it's getting robust. Now we can get AI feedback from applications which can not only point out the inherent weaknesses of your writing, of your speaking, even the record. I mean, you can speechify, we call it to speechify. You can record your things, you can replay it, and you can see where you are going wrong, or choral drill, you can drill it after drill. So AI feedback mechanism, it's not just writing, it's speaking, it's also, reading text, gist reading, also creating things. You have come up with something. Now I don't say it's at par with, just want either Claude or ChatGPT or these kind of applications to give you a preliminary feedback. What we do, I mean, as a teacher in the classroom, we usually give feedback. Either we comment, we say, okay, great, you have done this, yeah, and or we say it could have been better if you like this, suggestions. So they give you suggestions. Fostering autonomous learning and agency. Now, agency is, if you think of agency, what is agency? Teacher agency, students agency, learners. What do you think of agency? What do you think of? When you think of agency, it means what? Some kind of autonomous control or some kind of empowerment. That means you can decide certain things. Like we say, it's your discretion. You choose, you decide, you do. So this kind of agency, and this is very important. Why is it important? Because of the motivational level. If you don't assign them, empower them, their motivation level will be very low. They won't feel the drive to do things. They don't have that. So intrinsically, extrinsically you have everything, but intrinsically they will be demotivated. So employ AI-driven platforms that allow students to self-assess their language proficiency and progress. Self-assessment tool, personalized learning paths. They can chart out their own paths, materials tailored to individual interests and learning styles, enhancing agency and choice, collaborative environment. Now this is great. Now hundreds and thousands of students or learners worldwide, they may be anywhere, remotest part of, but still they can collaborate. How? Through these applications. They can join the platforms, and like our workspaces or projects, and we do have our work projects. Even a simple Google Drive, it connects all of us at one time. We can have versions of each. They can have a pooled resource. We can pool resources, and we can compare, and we can give peer feedback, all those kind of things. Fostering a sense of community and shared learning. What is the good thing about collaboration is this community. That is, they know how to work well with others. Also to foster intercultural competence. That means they know how to deal with partners, and so not being rude, indisciplined, or kind of and shared learning. And they also display their learning. When they want the products, when they feel proud of that, they have done a part of together and they feel proud of it. Real-time feedback, good student learning journey, promoting reflection and growth, then empowering learner autonomy, culture of independence, where students take charge of the learning support. That's why I told the agency or autonomy, empowering. Now see the global cases in the world over, the AI technology led, they are productive, being productive, and these are success stories. University of California, personalization through AI, 30% increase in student engagement, and improved retention. Retention also improved, and they can remember things for a longer time. Also showcasing effectiveness of AI in driving learning success. London School, gamifications, as gamifications is a big, 50% increase in language proficiency scores among participants over academic year. Real-time feedback. Melbourne institution, peer collaborations. Melbourne utilizes SAMAR model, and SAMAR, just explain that this is S stands for substitution. That means what do we do traditionally? You replace it with the technology. That's substitution. Augmentation is you reinforce learning through augmented reality. That means you supplement it with more tasks or simulate it like real life situations. Create an environment where the students are not just learning in isolation in a classroom. They are actually learning in an immersive, truly immersive, real environment and interacting with them. I mean, they can talk to, they can shake hands, they can exchange things and all those kind of things. So there's a 40% evidence by 40% increase in collaborative projects course. Traditional method and this method. See the difference. The one teacher with a stick in his hand. I mean, this is what is the scenario. And most of the learners are maybe unattached, uninterested, or maybe phased out, or not so. And in other picture, you can see that this is more of the see AI enhanced method for students engagement. You can see they're interacting less with the teacher and more with the gadgets over there. But that doesn't mean that they are not with the teacher. And it doesn't mean the teacher is not with the students or learners. Actually, it's a whole lot of higher order of engagement. But there are disadvantages. Like critical thinking ability is marred because they're too much engrossed with technology and all that. That they rarely employ this is called cognitive offloading. Sometimes, yes, it happens. For example, I may be really good at my presentation if I don't have to focus on this. Believe me. Because since you guys have to be, your attention is directed on it, and I have to show you the evidence things on the screen, so you are glued to the screen without ever indulging in your retrospections or your insightful, gainful insight. And I'm also doing, like scrolling through. I'm actually scrolling through, and then, so too much of reliance on technological, screen engagement is not beneficial to a considerable extent in all the scenarios. Okay, for feedback, automation, repetitive tasks, these kinds of things, okay. But when it comes to original thinking methodology, only your brain will work, Nobody can work for your brain. It's your brain. How you tease it, what kind of cognitive domain you are activating, schema, post-schema, pre-schema, those kinds, and your experiential life experience. That also comes in handy. For example, our learners, they're L2 learners, Arabic learners, they may not be great at English, L2 competence, but they're great at their L1 in Arabic, and they have a very high level of nuanced, we call it in English, nuanced understanding of the culture and the subjects of the study material of that. So they are really great. The only handicap is that they're not able to transfer this L1 to L2. And that's what we're trying to do it. So the way they find it conducive to the learning or convenient for the learning, that would work best for them. So it's not. So AI enhancing methods for student engagement. Now we have the application in Arabic also. All the applications are available in Arabic also. And we have local like Mother City. There is a platform where we are. Saudi Arabia is going all out for 1 billion investment in data center. And UAE is coming up with a deep seek moment, like a fraction of what GPT is investing. And they have come up with a more robust model than GPT, like GPT, UAE, this fraction. Because there are ways of tokenization, we call it tokenism. Billion plus tokens, we have large language models, but this is called diffusion or distillation. So if you go by diffusion or distillation, you don't need big setup. Like we can teach under the sun, under a tree, in the open land. You don't need to build a big building to teach. So they are building stocks and stocks of plenty of. So those are for bigger things, bigger scenarios. For language models and generative AI, we don't need so much. So AI enhanced learning environment is, of course, and what are the practical AI powered approaches for teachers? What works in our classroom? scenario. Look at this. AI refreshing how assessment are crafted. You will agree that assessment, for example, we have our CTU working for us. They come up with task, test all the time. There's a test bank and all that. Just imagine if you could employ the interactive assessment material testing and transform. This assessment can be crafted like this, gap filling sizes, multiple choices, different sets of choices. Also, depending upon the level of competence level. That's what all our testing system work like. Cambridge and all these, they give you the level of challenges depending upon your attempts level. So these are really great at modifying the testing assessments. They can be crafted, enhancing engagement and learning outcomes as well. AFL classroom. Now look at the percentage. 75% of the teachers report improved students' engagement through AI-driven tools. Also, students show preference for interactive that utilize in technologies. For example, the moment you start Kahoot in our classroom, or even those who are sleeping, they will log in. What they will achieve, they don't know. But if you think of these applications, at least they will come to their senses and they start engaging themselves. 85% actually at institution globally. This is about global acceptance. And believe me, the whole world is after these things, and now nobody is spared.
The statistics are worldwide or?
Yes, worldwide. Yes, it's worldwide. Yes, 70% of ESL, EFL context is content, but the adoption rate will vary from across the domains. For example, science. For example, other interdisciplinary. These are because English is all on the internet. I mean, English is the language of the internet. All these models are working first in English, first the main language. Then they are translating. Google Translation, hundreds of languages are translated from English to the others. They are not created in any other language. So English has the advantage of being a reservoir of the data input. 80% of the internet language, language used in English. That's the beauty. And that too, the bias is that 80% come from where? It's from West. Western countries and Western institutions, all of them, they are trying their innovations. They come over to us and then they transfer the technology to. So the bias comes from, they never take into account how Saudis feel, how Indians feel, how Filipinos feel. They always put those things in the place and then you start adopting them. So there comes the bias. Anyway, future directions, question answers, some quizzes answers, and I'm going to give you some quizzes on gap filling size. I like some of the exercises that we can do on SAMAR Model components. How we substitute it. We have a TPAC pedagogy. And we have AI goji. AI goji means replacement of pedagogy. Now we have pedagogy, AI goji. So everything is there with AI. So pedagogy has remained the same. What we are doing is overlaying technology with those pedagogy, because scientific research is worldwide. How the learner's brain works, how classroom scenario can be in class. All of these are 50 years, 100 years of research. Technology has just come over. And now we're trying to marry it. It's like a marriage the two different souls. So everywhere we talk about technological integration. That means how we harness this technology in sync with, in tune with those kind of pedagogies or scientific researches that have been gone into. Although scientific research will also change. That means the way our brain works, now we understand better than we used to. Why? Because we have models of AI which can see into every DNA, every blood samples, where actually there are so many, even the DNA under your hair, the hair transplant of this, it's altering the whole industry, health industry, farming. Now farming, we can see how much water a plant needs, how much sunlight is needed, how can we grow the plants sooner or later. So no field is unchanged. AI is everywhere in one form or the other. It's going to be there because it is powerful. It's so powerful that just try to go to Node LLM from here. Can you? Oh, sorry, yes. Otherwise, I will go to LLM directly. Here is the LLM. Could you? No. Okay. I was talking about this quiz. Then we have. Now let's see how one LLM you have been trained. Like, have you attended LLM workshop? I think there was one yesterday.
The notebook or
LLM notebook, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you had attended, you could have seen that we can harness this simple applications in some multiple ways. Now look, I have used this as mind map. If you go for mind map, it will give you mind map. This is the mind map. Look how it's AI literacy for educators, knowledge building, AI foundation. Now further, it will give you core conceptual elements and.
But can you share the mind map later with the?
Say again.
Can you share? The mind map later. The only app that you cannot share the mind map, right?
No, there are so many. MindPol, there is one MindPol. You can create my mind map.
Actually, we couldn't share the mind map.
Oh, why? Now look at this.
See,
I can see it. You can see it in real time. Say, cultivating growth mindset. How? Principles, attitude, implementations, all this. What are key takeaways? Holistic approach emphasis. That means if we adopt this technology with loads of our insight, it will be better for us. Essential AI in education references. Now it gives you references. See, these are the real references. Do you know that US Department of Education, actually they decide the AI integration things, competency level, frameworks. So every country, every institution has frameworks now. European Commission has framework. USA, all the universities have their frameworks. Every state actually has its framework. Every state, UNESCO obviously is a body which has 26 pages, framework for OECD, empowering learners, European Commission, Arizona Institute. It has its own framework. So this is one example of how you can go for mind map. Now let's. There's a studio called. If you go to studio, it gives you all of these here. Mind map. We have reports. You want to report on this quiz? Look at this quiz. I mean, it's making the quiz. I don't want to make it. I've already won quiz 4 days ago. This is the quiz I was talking about based on AI. Now this will open for me. It has an answer. We can see that according to the provided framework, which of the following is a core element of the knowledge component of AI literacy of education? Knowledge component. It can be fostering curiosity? No. Using driven lesson planners? No. Developing or computation thinking by coding? No. Actually this one. Understanding concepts like machines, and so it gives you actually hints. It gives you the hints also. The components from the essential functions must be placed before implemented. So it gives you an idea of what to get, how to get the answer. So this is a quiz I have made. Can you give me the answer for this? Document suggests that using AI to analyze classroom engagement metrics to identify students who need support is an application of which specific skill? Is it media literacy? Media literacy is all about social media platform usage. No, it's not just that. Is it data literacy?
I think it's digital.
Yeah, it's the digital literacy. That means all you know about digital inclusion and all you know about. So this is the computational thinking. No, it's not our job. It's the machine's job. Computational thinking is the machine's job, not our job. So this is a quiz on that. Let's see flashcard. I have shown you some of the flashcards here. These are 36 questions here about AI literacy, how to tweak our What are the three fundamentals? Look at this. Component that constitute AI literacy for education. Can you think of one? It says three. Don't worry. These are the three things: so knowledge, skills, attitude. So this is how we can do the. We can restart from all restarting this. So this is flashcards. Now we have even the book overview of the book overview, like report on like this educational narrative. This gives you a complete summary of what you have fed into. I have fed into this, AI literacy. This is the topic: AI literacy, educated knowledge, skills. See, this is one reflection of one teacher who used this, and she's saying how it has changed her attitude, life set, and all that. So, what are the core curriculum, things about AI literacy? It gives ownership, it gives innovation, it gives, this is a complex defining necessary attitude and all that. Okay, longer. You can have longer response, shorter response, choose learning guides. This is default learning guides. So this is overview. Also, you can have resource. Obviously, the resource audio overview. You want it to be in audio, it will give you an audio overview. You want it to video overview, transform into video. Then mind map, I showed you. Reports, I showed you. Quiz, flashcards. So these are some of the really like proposals. This is a proposal. If I want to give a proposal for today's workshop, this is a proposal. Look how it comes with the proposal. Look at this. It gives me an overview of how to begin, how to start, how to. Anyway, let's go to the other stuff. See, global case studies. Khan Migo, if you've heard of it. This is a moving sequence reading, and this is a context sensible tutoring sequence. That'll be 24/7. We have a tutor with you, free of cost, with the learner. If the learner wants to learn English or Spanish, or 24/7, he has a bot, has a tutor along with him. It gives feedback. It gives automated tasks and all this. Depends upon. Squirrel is another from China. Madrasi platform from Saudi Arabia. AI transform. Now look at this. Yeah.
I think could you please try Squirrel, because
This one?
sounds, yeah.
I can't now. Connectivity is very bad. It will go to the website and then it will start doing things. But it's a great, now look at the brainstorming tools for teachers and students. Brainstorming. Yeah.
Which ones would you recommend for using? Any of them that these the ones you recommend for us to try in our class, or?
Khan Migo is good. Khan Migo is good. Khan Migo is good.
And it's free.
Yeah, it's free. Yes, yeah. Actually, across the subjects, all subjects. In fact, for English, actually, math, science, these are great, because it gives exact demonstration of how we carry out the experiments, how we show the, and it's simulation format.
Khamigo is like Khan Academy base.
Khan Academy base. The guy is, yes, but he's brilliant, like he is catering to thousands and thousands of students worldwide with, tailored tailored lessons for specific topics. These are some of the instances where we can, okay, let me show you the full. AI classroom policy. Now we talk about plagiarism checker and all that, academic integrity, important institutions where we have bindings. Data privacy, of course, we cannot say yes to everything. I mean, we have to see that it's reliable, dependable, and all that. And also, we have consent form where we can check mark, uncheck. I don't want you to collect the data. Do you know why ChatGPT is so popular? Because it takes your personalized information into the store. There's a history. and it talks to you as if it knows you. It's like your friend, you know. Over the time, when you're a kid, it all pulls the data from you, and then it says, oh, it's familiar, you know? Oh, it's my nephew. Oh, he's talking to me, that means his problem is this, he will ask me this, and predictions and all that. So it familiarizes yourself, it befriends you actually, and then you fall in love with it, as if it's your savior. And it's always, every time you have a problem, you start counseling for it. This is not with Google, you know, Gemini and all that. Gemini, they don't keep the chat history. You can, if you want to. But it's also, I mean, it is called remembrance. You know, ChatGPT remembers the things from the past. And that's bad and good both. So it remembers your weaknesses, your problems, it knows you better than your wife. That's a problem, you know. And it will intervene in your life. So, this is like some of the 187 billion. Actually, I'm not talking about investment and all that. I have so many videos here. We're huge, $1 trillion mark. And this AI guy, you know, Sam Altman, he's aiming for $1 trillion investment, you know, with NVIDIA CEO Jensen and all. And he started open source. Now he's monetizing the things. And now he wants to. And he believes that one day his company CEO will be an AI. I mean, replacing him. And he will go for farming. You know. He will stay home doing farming. And the CEO of his, this ChatGPT will be artificial CEO. I mean, it will take over itself. That's the whole thing, you know. And then he will retire from here. So there's so much of money involved. This is industry now, basic industry. And everywhere, where, you know, Colossal 1 from Elon Musk, Colossal 1, Colossal 2, these are the big foundries, you know, AI foundries, where there is like big mechanized farming of data. And they have heavy investment with lots of, you know, energy consumption and all that, water and energy consumption. And the whole world is going after it. It's not just one. As I told, 1 million somewhere around there. UAE is the biggest adopter of AI today. I mean, like next to, US is next to UAE, but it's a large scale adoption of this. They're heavily invested into these things. So it's not going anywhere. You know? It's like deeply entrenched and deeply rooted. And this is industrial today, replacing all the infrastructure of yesterday. You know, it's like infrastructure of AI infrastructure. Collaborative critical skills, these are some of the basic things as teacher here, you know, I'm talking about. Code construction, fundamental principle of artificial intelligence, machine learning, algorithm explain, data processing, pattern recognition. What is pattern recognition? That gives the insight into students' learnability. For example, how long he engaged with the system. Even how many times he blinked his eyes, motions here, his worries, like you said, you appear to be worried, huh? So he can, wrinkles and all that, this is a facial recognition system, it can get into the psyche of what's going on inside and outside, both. And they interpret the data depending upon, what kind of treatment can be given to the learner. So, data bias, as I told you that Europeans have upper hand, and actually not European Union, they are wanting to have their own guardrails, own systems, completely away from Americans and Britishers. So they want Germany and Italy, these countries. So ethical concern, privacy, data protection, always there, transparency in decision making, maintaining human agency. Now this is paramount. As teacher, our importance lies in maintaining human intervention and human touch with the ground realities. Emotion support, AI tools. AI tools can give you emotion support if you have an advanced, like, Optimus from, this guy, Elon Musk, Optimus, just $30,000. And he's going to do everything you want in the house. Everything, like, cleaning, cooking, and giving suggestions and bringing stuff for you. Also, taking care of, elderly people and all this. It could be good for those elderly people who really depend on gadgetry to transform themselves. So, emotional intelligence in AI is still not sentient. It's not sentient. It can do a lot of things. It can replace teachers for a while. It can do everything, like those kinds of. But still, the only thing is that emotional intelligence is not made for. It's not trained enough to behave like empathetically. Empathy is not there. EMPATHY, empathy. Empathy is the key word that only humans are endowed with, and we teachers in the classroom, our role primarily is safe because of this aspect until they take over us in this aspect also. So, problem solving with AI tools. Now, when we think of problem solving, actually all the time we are thinking of problem solving. Every technology is for problem solving. But they solve one problem and create two. They solve two problems and create four. That's the thing. Now every time they have to sell their gadgets and their application there. So you say this is more robust than this. You can do this. With this you can do this. You can also add on. So we can add-ons. So there's no end of these add-ons, and we keep wondering. And there's people who are spending a lot of money in this, and they want you to spend money. So for us as an educator, we just be choosy, picky. We adopt one which works for us, may not be for everyone the same thing. Whatever works for you, adopt one and try to maximize its output and engage it. But the thing is that you must engage. If you don't engage, you'll be left behind. You'll be lagging behind most of the time. It's like, technology is always, that gives you an edge over others. Now, if your children are better known and better handling these things, and you are not, then you are a fool. And you can always be taken for a ride. So that's the thing. So we need to update our professional technology. What are the emerging trends in education? Cutting edge, predictive learning and analytics. Predictive means it will tell you about your future. How distant? We don't know yet. But it will be predictive to the extent that it will tell you that what you are thinking of, what your intentions are, what are you up to, what are your villainous intent, if there is any. Like you guys would like to.
Can you guess?
Preparing a dynamic educational landscape. So dynamism comes from changing. When we say dynamism, that doesn't mean stay the same, static. It's all about bringing about differentiation, changes, updating things, all those things. Now, institutional level, it takes time because they have to look for so many things. There are so many stakeholders, right? But if I want to bring about a change in my life, who will stop me? Nobody will stop me. So bring about the change in your own educational landscape, own learnability, own yours. Empower yourself through these applications. Forget about the institutional setups and all that. That will be slow because transitioning is not easy. If you cater to thousands of learners, it's not easy. So, personal AI learning journey. Now, suppose you just include one small change in your personal AI learning journey. Within a week or 2 weeks, you will feel that you are slightly better than others, and that will encourage you to adopt more. So, naysayers or those who are resistant to technology, resistance is very bad. You don't have to resist the technology. Oh no. This kind of, acceptance is the first thing to admit that there is a problem. If you don't accept there is a problem, you continue doing the same thing. So we need to upgrade, like our mobiles and all, we're always upgrading, sir. Yeah. So we need to upgrade ourselves also, to some extent. Now this resistance to all, how do we address technology fears? Don't worry about fiddling with the things. Actually, I keep fiddling. Like games, like small babies playing with the toys. I keep playing with these, and that's how I get to know newer things. That's it. This is the only way. And then building confidence in AI tools. Confidence comes from, like, if you give presentation, practice with your learners, give a demo of the things, then it becomes concrete. with you. I mean, you are confident about delivering it to the others. Creating supporting learning environment. We can have a group of learners who are into education technology. We can exchange the ideas. I have ChatGPT team, and there you can collaborate. Like ChatGPT team. We have workflows. We have workstation, workplaces, project-based. And I mean, every application gives you this. When you invite people, I don't have people to invite actually. So I have so many, but I don't have people to invite. So if you are, thinking like like-minded people, want to really, we can have such kind of canvas. We said canvas, one canvas, and for many of some in future directions. We have some references to the future. I've researched so much. Actually, there are so many things I have left out actually. So. My Padlet gives you everything, I have all the things on my Padlet. Oh no, why is not? This is my Padlet. If you can take the QR code for this Padlet. And Padlet itself is a great platform. What for? To keep your stuff safe in one place. And you see how many, I have 59 things here in this luminous page, one Padlet. You may not be able to open it because of connectivity, but it's called Luminous Padlet. Luminous. You can name it any name. It's a Padlet for TA, teacher assistant, TA Padlet. Is it opening or not?
Yes.
No?
Section.
Okay. This is the we can export, copy link to slideshow, embed, share. I can share it with anyone, like email, Facebook. I can share it later or. But this is ghariba, this should open. This doesn't need a very strong internet. This is the section. These are the sections. This is my. This is what I showed you. Not yet. No. Internet problem. You can open it at home. Now here, suppose I want to go to this Google Doc. Just tap and it will take, see, it took me to the notebook, LLM. I just tap that because I saved it, plus. I have saved 59 of them in this Padlet. How many are there, Shif? Actually, it's not letting me slideshow. That's the problem, the internet. One by one, it will show me all the pages. So this is free, and you can have your own. Now, if I go to Teaching Tactics for Empowerment, if I go to this Spark, Introduction to Cautious Innovator, this, for example, I go to this. It will take me there immediately. PPT. So it's a good way of saving the things, good way of keeping the stuff in one place. Also, there are so many things, interactive things here. So it's not about the applications. There are so many. The thing is how invested you are, how much time, how much energy, how much interest you show for these things. The best thing about LLM is it's immediate. Even with this internet, it takes me to there. Chef, show LLM immediately. Chef. So this is the Google. I mean, Google, they are really powerful tools. Straight away it takes to. Now these are some of the notebooks I have made on Google Notebook. Sure. This is the I have done it for my writing Coral Digital Corporation L2 writing. It gives you podcast, video, it gives you summaries. So all the applications are very powerful these days. Go to Sonnet, go to Gemini 2.3, go to Claude, Anthropic, Llama, Kimi, any one of them. And I'm using this. I don't know whether you know this or not. This is a Comet. This is a new search engine. Chrome, like Chrome. It's a good one. Chrome, like Chrome. Comet. See? This one. I haven't set it as default, but it's great. See? Actually, this is the third document I have made. I couldn't be able to show you the key takeaways, like, what? If I have to show you this, key takeaways, what are the key takeaways for today? Just read. Read. Here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's time now. Holistic approach to technological integration education, human-centered technological approach, strategic tactical adaptation, strategic and tactical, like warfare. It's like a warfare. Continuous professional development, like workshop, webinar, all of these. Ethical and innovative implementation. I mean, don't go blindfoldedly. Think of how best we can do this. Thank you so much being with me.
Thank you.
In fact, bear with me.
Great.
Excellent.
Always up to the level.
Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you.
ما شاء الله ما شاء الله جزاك الله خير हाँ जी चल रहा है कहाँ घर जा रहे हैं आप भी चलो ठीक है चलें
5 मिनट में दीजिए बस ये समेट
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.